The Prophecy Code, Ancient Visions and Future Echoes. What is prophecy? A glimpse beyond the veil. A message from the divine, or the ramblings of those touched by madness or revelation. Join us as we travel across millennia, from the deserts of Israel to the visions of mystics, from ancient scrolls to the coded quatrains of Nostradamus. This is not just history. This is the story of humanity's yearning to pierce the fabric of time and uncover the fate that lies ahead. Prophecies, visions of fire, truth, and time. Segment 1, The Voice of God. In the ancient world, the prophet was more than a priest. He was a vessel. The Hebrew word was nabi, meaning one who is called. When the Spirit of Yahweh came upon him, he would sing, dance, see visions, and cry out oracles. It was a sacred possession. These prophets were not fortune tellers. Their role wasn't to entertain or predict horse races. They were mouthpieces of the divine, often delivering uncomfortable truths. The Bible's earliest prophets, Abraham, Moses, Miriam, each bore a unique divine spark. But prophecy, as we know it, reached ecstatic heights with figures like Samuel and Elijah. These weren't mild-mannered sages. They were fierce, sometimes wild, overcome by a force greater than themselves. This divine whisper marked a turning point. Prophecy began its slow evolution from fire and frenzy to reflection and poetry. Segment 2, Flames That Write. By the 8th century BC, prophecy had taken on a new form. Prophets like Amos, Hosea, Isaiah, and Micah were no longer just seers. They were poets, reformers, revolutionaries. Amos, a simple shepherd, thundered against injustice. Hosea, heartbroken by betrayal, used his own suffering to mirror the pain of a betrayed God. Isaiah looked outward, envisioning a future where all nations would bow to righteousness. And Micah? He whispered of a time when swords would become plowshares. Later, Jeremiah emerged, a man of sorrow, warning of Jerusalem's fall. And from the shadows of Babylonian exile came Ezekiel and the mysterious second Isaiah, who saw hope rising even from ruin. These prophets did not invent religion. They reinvigorated it. They challenged kings, defied temples, and dared to imagine a world transformed. Segment 3, Visions and Fulfillments. Were they right? Did their visions come true? Many did. The fall of Jerusalem. The return of the exiles. The survival of a people against all odds. Others, like the promise of a golden age of universal peace, remain unfulfilled. Or perhaps not yet fulfilled. Christians saw in these prophecies the coming of Jesus, the suffering servant of Isaiah, the new covenant Jeremiah spoke of. The Gospel of Matthew links Jesus to dozens of Old Testament verses, often insisting on literal fulfillment. But even here, questions linger. Jesus predicted the destruction of the temple, and it fell in 70 AD. But the world did not end. Some say he spoke symbolically. Others believe something was lost in transmission. Perhaps like Jonah's Nineveh, the prophecy was conditional. Perhaps we chose a different path. Segment 4. Muhammad and the final word. Islam too places prophecy at its center. Muhammad is the prophet, the last in a line that includes Adam, Noah, Moses, and Jesus. The Quran, dictated by the angel Gabriel, echoes the Old Testament in style and spirit. Yet Islam claims it as the final correction. Where earlier messages were distorted, this one would endure. And though formal prophecy ended with Muhammad, mystics like the Sufis continued the spiritual journey. But Islam rarely indulged in predictive prophecy. For them, revelation was a path, not a fortune. Segment 5. Beyond reason, modern prophets and poets. Can we explain prophecy? Some say yes, that visions are just dreams, that voices are madness, that altered states of consciousness explain it all. But what of William Blake? A poet, a mystic, a man who spoke with angels and painted visions more vivid than reality. He believed himself a prophet, and his works, dense, symbolic, transcendent, still defy easy analysis. Even Bertrand Russell, a skeptic, had to admit there is no objective line between a man who fasts and sees heaven and one who drinks and sees snakes. But one leaves a legacy that moves nations, the other wakes up with a headache. Segment 6. The mysterious case of Nostradamus. Enter Michel de Nostradamus. Physician, astrologer, poet, prophet. In 1555, he published 353 enigmatic quatrains. Then more still. Written in cryptic, archaic French, they remain a puzzle and a magnet. Did he predict the death of King Henry II in 1559? Many say yes. Did he see the rise of Napoleon? Hitler, the Second World War? Atomic bombs? Interpretation is everything. His supporters see uncanny accuracy. Skeptics see vague verses twisted by hindsight. Various dictatorial systems used his predictions for political purposes. But Nostradamus himself? He may have laughed. Or perhaps he knew exactly what he was doing, writing riddles for the ages. Even today, his verses are mined for clues. A secret code. A glimpse of tomorrow, or simply poetry that never ages. Segment 7. Dreams of Time. In the 20th century, a man named J.W. Dunne proposed something radical. In dreams, he claimed, we sometimes see fragments of the future. He called it serial time. The idea that our deeper self walks ahead of us, glimpsing what is to come, and sometimes letting a piece of that knowledge slip through. Not divine, not madness, but something else. A doorway, a thread. Final segment. What is prophecy really? Is prophecy a divine whisper? A human need? A subconscious warning? It's never just prediction. True prophecy is a mirror, a warning, a call. It challenges the powerful. and it uplifts the broken. It speaks when no one wants to listen. In ancient caves, in desert winds, in medieval courts and modern cities, the voice returns again and again. If you have ears, hear. Whether it comes from God, from dreams, or from the deep wells of our own minds, the prophetic voice remains. Mysterious, timeless, and always worth listening to. This is not just history. This is prophecy. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into mysticism, mythology, and hidden truths. Like, share, and let the mysteries unfold. Until next time.